Captain Vexstar watched his home world burn from the bridge of his warship. The flames reached up into the sky like angry fingers. His people were dying down there. 3 years ago, the Zephyrian collective had come from the dark space between stars. Now they were everywhere. "Sir, we are getting reports from the Outer Rim," his officer said. The young Altarian's voice shook with fear. "The Kepler defense line has fallen. All ships lost." Vexstar closed his 4 eyes. The Kepler line was their last hope. 50 warships from 12 different worlds had made their stand there. Now they were all gone. The bioships of the Zephyrians had eaten them alive. "How many refugees did we save?" He asked. 2 million, sir. But there were 50 million on the colonies. The captain felt sick. 2 million saved out of 50 million. It was not enough. It was never enough. The Zephyrians did not just kill people. They consumed entire worlds. They took everything and left nothing but empty space. On the Federation Council Station, Commander Lisa Parker read the latest reports. The news was bad, very bad. The Zephyrians had taken 47 star systems in the last month. Their bioships grew stronger with each victory. They ate the metals from destroyed ships. They consumed the energy from dead planets. "We need help," Admiral Knox said. The old man looked tired. Dark circles hung under his eyes. "Send the message to Earth again," Lisa nodded. Earth was new to the galaxy. Humans had only been traveling between stars for 200 years. Most of the older races thought they were primitive, but they were the only ones who had not been attacked yet. "What do we tell them, sir?" Lisa asked. "The truth. We are losing. If they do not help us, the Zephyrians will come for them next." Lieutenant Jake Morrison sat in the human embassy on the Federation station. He was young for a military officer, only 25 years old. But he was smart, and he understood alien cultures better than most humans. The Federation leaders did not like him much. They thought humans were too violent, too unpredictable. They preferred to talk and make treaties. Humans preferred to act. "The message has been sent," Jake told the Federation Council. "Earth will respond soon." Council leader Zorvith made a sound like laughing, but it was not happy laughing. What can one world do? "We have lost the combined fleets of 40 races. Your people have maybe a dozen ships." Jake said nothing. He had learned that silence was sometimes the best answer. Let them think what they wanted to think. The response from Earth came 3 days later. It was very short. Just 1 line of text. And a ship identification number. USS Constitution responding. Arrival in 72 hours. Admiral Knox read the message twice. 1 ship? They are sending 1 ship? "That is what it says, sir," Lisa replied. "This is madness," Council leader Zorvith said. His tentacles waved with anger. "We asked for their fleet. They send us 1 vessel." Jake looked at the message again. He knew something the aliens did not know. Earth had been building something in secret. Something big. The military leaders had not told him what it was. But he had heard rumors. Whispers in dark hallways. Stories about a project that had taken 20 years to complete. "Maybe 1 ship is enough," Jake said quietly. The council members looked at him like he was crazy. But Jake just smiled. Out in the cold darkness of space, something moved. It was huge, bigger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. It traveled between the stars without making a sound. Space itself seemed to bend around it as it moved. The gravitational sensors on the Federation station began to go crazy. Emergency alarms started ringing. The technicians ran to their computers to see what was happening. "Sir, we are detecting massive gravitational distortions," the sensor operator reported. "Something big is coming through hyperspace." Admiral Knox frowned. "How big?" "I don't know, sir. The readings don't make sense." It's like a small moon is moving through space. Lisa Parker felt her heart start to beat faster. Could it be? Could the humans have actually built something that could help them? The Zephyrian Advance Fleet was only 6 hours away from the Federation station. Their bioships looked like giant insects made of metal and flesh. They had mouths full of sharp teeth that could bite through the hull of any ship. Their weapons fired living ammunition that ate through armor like acid. The Federation fleet was ready to run. All the civilian ships had already escaped to the outer systems. Only the military vessels remained. 43 ships against 300 Zephyrian bio-vessels. It was not a fair fight. "Sir, hyperspace window opening," the sensor operator called out. "Something is coming through." Jake Morrison stood up from his chair. He could feel something different in the air, like electricity before a storm. The other officers could feel it too. Even the aliens seemed nervous. "Distance?" Admiral Knox asked. 2 million kilometers and closing. "Size?" The sensor operator checked his readings 3 times before he answered. "Sir, I'm reading 15 kilometers long. That can't be right." "Check again." "I've checked 5 times, sir. 15 kilometers long. Mass readings are off the charts." Council Leader Zorveth made a choking sound. "Impossible. No ship could be that large." Jake Morrison smiled. "You don't know humans very well. The USS Constitution dropped out of hyperspace like a mountain falling from the sky. Its arrival sent shockwaves through normal space. Every sensor for 10 light years detected the massive disturbance. Communication systems went dead. Navigation computers crashed. And somewhere in the dark, the Zephyrian bioships stopped their advance. For the first time in 1,000 years, they felt something they had never experienced before. Fear. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of the USS Constitution and watched the stars. She was 45 years old and had been in space for most of her life. But she had never commanded anything like this ship. Nothing like this ship had ever existed. "All systems are running perfectly, Admiral," Chief Engineer Ryan Hayes reported. His voice came through the communication system with pride. Ryan had spent 10 years building this ship. It was his baby, his masterpiece. The Constitution was 15 kilometers long and 3 kilometers wide. Its hull was made from metals that did not exist anywhere else in the galaxy. Human scientists had created them in laboratories deep underground on Earth. The ship had weapons that could destroy planets, engines that could bend space itself. "How are our guests doing?" Kate asked. Lieutenant Amy Watson checked her screens. She was the ship's communication officer and AI specialist. "The Federation observers are still in shock, Admiral. I don't think they believed we could build something this big." Kate smiled. The Federation had sent 3 officers to observe the human response to their crisis. They had expected to see a small fleet of primitive ships. Instead, they got one vessel that was larger than their entire space station. "Show me the tactical display," Kate ordered. The main screen lit up with a map of local space. Red dots showed the Zephyrian bioships. There were 300 of them moving toward the Federation station. Each one was the size of a city block. Their organic hulls pulsed with alien life. Captain Alex Turner studied the enemy formation from his position in the Marine Bay. He commanded 2,000 of Earth's finest soldiers. They wore powered armor and carried weapons designed to fight in space. Alex had been fighting aliens for 15 years. These Zephyrians would be different from anything he had faced before. "Sir, the bioships are strange," his sergeant reported. "Our sensors show they are part machine and part living creature. They seem to think as one mind." "Good," Alex said. "When you cut off the head, the body dies." Dr. Helen Cross worked in her laboratory, deep inside the Constitution. She was Earth's top expert on alien biology. For the past 3 days, She had been studying data about the Zephyrian bioships. What she found excited her. "Admiral, I think I have found something important," Helen reported over the communication system. "Tell me, Doctor." "The bioships are connected by organic neural networks, like a giant brain spread across space. If we can disrupt those connections, they will lose their coordination." Kate nodded. Human military doctrine was simple. Find the enemy's weakness and hit it hard. The Zephyrians had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years because no one had figured out how to break their neural link. But humans were good at breaking things. Captain Danny Foster sat in the tactical center and planned the attack. He was 32 years old and had graduated first in his class from Earth's War College. Danny understood space combat better than anyone else on the ship. "The Federation forces are retreating," he reported. 43 ships running from 300. They are scared. "Can you blame them?" Kate asked. "They have been losing for 3 years. "No, Admiral, but fear makes people stupid. Look at their formation. They are bunched together like sheep. One good hit and half their fleet is gone." Kate studied the tactical display. Danny was right. The Federation ships were flying too close together. They were protecting each other, but they were also making themselves one big target. "Send a message to the Federation fleet," Kate ordered. "Tell them to spread out and follow our lead." Amy. Watson sent the message. The reply came back quickly. "Admiral Knox wants to know what you plan to do with one ship against 300, Amy reported. "Tell him he's about to find out." The Zephyrian bioships moved through space like a school of fish. They flowed around asteroids and gas clouds without breaking formation. Their hulls rippled with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed in rhythm. With their shared thoughts, the lead bioship was the size of a small city. Its commander was a creature that had lived for 800 years. It had consumed the fleets of 40 races. It had eaten entire worlds. The sight of one large human ship did not worry it, but something was wrong. The neural link that connected all the bioships carried whispers of uncertainty. Some of the younger vessels reported strange sensor readings. The human ship was different from anything they had encountered before. Navigator Rachel Stone guided the Constitution through space with movements that should have been impossible. A massive ship turned and twisted like a fighter craft. It accelerated and stopped so quickly that the artificial gravity systems had to work overtime to keep the crew from being crushed. "How are we moving like this?" one of the Federation observers asked. He was a Centauri captain named Dexiner. His race had been building ships for 5,000 years, but he had never seen anything move the way the Constitution moved. "Gravitational manipulation," Rachel explained. "We don't push against space. We fold it around us. That's impossible. The energy requirements would be enormous." Rachel smiled. "We have enormous energy sources." Chief Tactical Officer Ben Rodriguez prepared the ship's weapons for combat. The Constitution had 48 main guns, each one larger than most Federation ships. It had defensive systems that could stop a meteor shower. It had missiles that could track targets across star systems. "All weapons ready, Admiral," Ben reported. "Thank you, Ben. Hold fire until I give the order." "Yes, ma'am." The Zephyrian advance scouts reached weapons range of the Federation station. They opened fire with bioplasma cannons that shot streams of living energy. The Federation defensive platforms fired back with laser arrays and particle beams. Battle was not going well for the defenders. The bioships absorbed energy weapons and grew stronger. Their organic hulls healed damage almost as fast as it was inflicted. 3 defensive platforms exploded in balls of fire. "Admiral, the Federation is requesting immediate assistance," Amy reported. Kate looked at the tactical display. The enemy bioships were 2 million kilometers away and closing fast. The Constitution could engage them now, But Kate wanted them closer. Much closer. Not yet, she said. Sir, they are dying out there, Captain Turner said over the communication. System. I know, Alex, but if we engage now, some of them will escape. I want them all in one place. Danny Foster understood the Admiral's strategy. It was brutal but effective. Let the enemy commit all their forces to the attack. Then hit them when they could not retreat. The Zephyrian bioships pressed their assault on the Federation station. More defensive platforms died. A few Federation ships that tried to fight were quickly overwhelmed. Admiral Knox sent desperate messages requesting help. 1,000,000 kilometers and closing, Rachel reported. Still too far, Kate said. 500,000 kilometers. Wait for it. The bioships reached the Federation station and began their final attack. They swarmed around the structure like insects around a light. Their bioplasma weapons cut through the station's armor. Explosions lit up the darkness of space. Now, Admiral? Ben asked. Kate watched the tactical display. Every single Zephyrian bioship was focused on the station. None of them were watching for threats from behind. Now, she said. The USS Constitution accelerated toward the battle at 20% of light speed. Space itself seemed to scream as the massive ship tore through the fabric of reality. The gravitational waves from its passage shook planets in distant solar systems. Target the lead bioship, Kate ordered. Full power to main guns. Targeting solutions locked, Ben replied. Fire. The Constitution's main guns spoke with the voice of thunder. The Constitution's first salvo lit up space like a newborn star. 12 massive kinetic rounds shot out of the main guns at 90% of light speed. Each round was the size of a small building and made from the densest materials known to. Human science. The lead Zephyrian bioship never saw them coming. The first round punched through its organic hull like a bullet through paper. The second round tore off one of its weapon pods. By the time the third round hit, the bioship was already breaking apart. Direct hit. Ben Rodriguez shouted from his tactical station. Target destroyed. Admiral Kate Sullivan watched the explosion on her main screen. The bioship died in a ball of fire that could be seen from 3 star systems away. But she was not celebrating yet. There were still 299 enemy ships left. Secondary targets locked, Ben reported, firing electromagnetic pulse cannons. The Constitution's EMP weapons were Dr. Helen Cross's idea. She had discovered that the Zephyrian bioships used organic neural networks to communicate. These networks were very sensitive to electromagnetic interference. A strong enough pulse could scramble their collective mind. Blue lightning shot out from the Constitution's weapon pods. The electromagnetic energy spread through space like ripples on a pond. When it hit the bioships, their hull patterns stopped. Pulsing, their coordinated movements became confused and erratic. Neural link disrupted, Helen reported from her laboratory. They can't think together anymore. The effect was immediate and devastating. The bioships had spent 1,000 years fighting as one unified organism. Now each ship was alone with its own primitive mind. They began to panic. Some bioships turned to flee. Others attacked their neighbors by mistake. A few simply stopped, moving and floated dead in space. The perfect formation that had terrorized the galaxy for 3 years fell apart in minutes. Captain Danny Foster saw the opportunity immediately. Admiral, recommend we coordinate with Federation forces for a combined attack. The enemy is vulnerable. Agreed. Amy, send attack coordinates to Admiral Knox. Lieutenant Amy Watson transmitted the tactical data to the Federation fleet. The alien ships had been hiding behind the space station, afraid to engage the Superior. Enemy. Now they saw the bioships in complete disarray. Federation fleet acknowledging attack plan, Amy reported. They are moving to engage. The battle turned into a massacre. Federation ships that had been running in fear suddenly found courage. They swooped down on the confused bioships like hawks hunting rabbits. Laser beams and particle cannons lit up the darkness, but the Constitution was not finished. Chief Engineer Ryan Hayes had been waiting 3 years to test his ship's most powerful weapons. The main guns were impressive, but they were just the beginning. Admiral, requesting permission to activate the gravitational disruptors, Ryan said over the communication system. Kate smiled. She had been hoping someone would ask. Permission granted. Show them what human engineering can do. The gravitational disruptors were Ryan's masterpiece. They could create artificial black holes that lasted for exactly 30 seconds. Long enough to destroy anything caught in their pull, but not long enough to become dangerous to nearby friendly ships. Targeting cluster of 20 bioships on the port side, Ben announced. Firing gravitational disruptor. A point of absolute darkness appeared in the middle of the bioship formation. For 1 second, nothing seemed to happen. Then space itself began to twist and bend. The bioships stretched like rubber as the artificial black hole pulled them apart. 20 bioships that had been alive and dangerous became scattered, atoms in the space of 5 seconds. The black hole disappeared as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving only empty space where the enemy fleet had been. The remaining Zephyrian bioships tried to retreat, but the Constitution was faster. Navigator Rachel Stone guided the massive ship through impossible maneuvers. She could make the 15-kilometer vessel spin like a top or stop on a single point. How was this possible? Captain Dexner asked. The Federation observer was still in shock from watching the human ship move. Your vessel is larger than our biggest space station, but it moves like a fighter craft. Humans don't believe in impossible. Rachel replied, We just believe in better engineering. Captain Alex Turner was getting impatient in the Marine Bay. His soldiers were ready for action, but the space battle was moving too fast for boarding operations. Admiral, request permission to deploy assault teams. Negative, Alex. I need your Marines ready for the main event. Main event, ma'am? Kate looked at her tactical display. Most of the bioships were dead or dying, but the real enemy had not shown itself yet. Intelligence reports said the Zephyrians had a command vessel somewhere in the area, something much larger and more dangerous than the bioships they had already destroyed. Long-range sensors are detecting a massive hyperspace signature, Amy reported. Something big is coming. How big? Kate asked. Bigger than us, Admiral. The hyperspace window that opened 5 minutes later was the largest anyone had ever seen. It stretched across 1,000,000 kilometers of space, like a wound in reality itself. What came through made even the Constitution look small. The Zephyrian command ship was the size of a small moon. Its bioorganic hull pulsed with veins of living light. Weapon pods dotted its surface like tumors. At its center was a massive eye that looked directly at the Constitution with ancient intelligence. Well, Kate said calmly, that's new. The command ship spoke directly into the minds of everyone in the local area. Its voice was like the sound of 1 billion insects screaming in harmony. I am the Overmind. I have consumed 1,000 worlds. I have destroyed 10,000 fleets. You will surrender your vessel, or I will add your bones to my collection. Kate activated the ship's external communication system. Her voice carried across space with the confidence of someone who had never lost a battle. This is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the United Earth Navy. You are trespassing in Federation space and threatening civilian populations. Surrender now or face the consequences. The alien laughter that came back sounded like breaking glass. You amuse me, human. But you are only one ship. I am eternal. I am inevitable. I am death itself. That's nice, Kate replied. Ryan, charge the main cannon array. Ben, Target that big eye in the center. Helen, I need to know if that thing has the same neural network weakness as the smaller ships. Working on it, Admiral, Helen said from her laboratory. The readings are strange. This ship is different. Much older. Much more intelligent. Intelligent enough to feel pain? Oh, yes. Definitely intelligent enough for that. The Overmind launched its attack first. Bioplasma beams, the size of city blocks, shot out from its weapon. Pods. The energy weapons were powerful enough to crack planets. They hit the Constitution's shields with enough force to light up half. The solar system, not the human ship, shook but held together. Its deflector shields absorbed most of the damage. What got through was stopped by 3 meters of battle armor, made from materials that existed nowhere else in the universe. Shields at 80%, Ryan reported. Hull integrity holding. Return. Fire, Kate ordered. The Constitution's response was immediate and overwhelming. All 48 main guns fired at once. Gravitational disruptors created a dozen black holes around the enemy command ship. Electromagnetic pulse cannons sent blue. Lightning dancing across its hull dot, the Overmind screamed in pain and surprise. In 1,000 years of conquest, nothing had ever hurt it this badly. Its ancient mind struggled to understand how one ship could be so powerful. Impossible, the creature shrieked. What are you? Kate's voice was cold as space itself when she answered, We're humans, and we don't like bullies. The real battle was just beginning. The Overmind's massive form writhed in space as the Constitution's weapons tore into its hull. Bioorganic armor that had protected it for centuries cracked and bled. But the ancient creature was far from dead. It had survived this long by being smart, not just strong. Hull breach detected on the enemy command ship, Amy Watson reported. Multiple sections are venting atmosphere. Admiral Kate Sullivan studied the tactical display. The Overmind was hurt, but still dangerous. Its weapon pods were already regenerating. The bioship could heal itself faster than most ships could be repaired. Colonel Adams, you're up, Kate announced over the communication system that Colonel Steve Adams had been waiting for this moment. He commanded the Constitution's elite boarding teams. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were specially trained for combat inside alien vessels. Each Marine wore powered armor that could survive in the vacuum of space. Roger that, Admiral. Launching assault pods now. 20 small craft shot out from the Constitution's launch bays. Each pod carried 10 Marines armed with weapons, designed to fight biological enemies. Steve had studied the intelligence reports about Zephyrian bioships. He knew what his teams would face inside. The assault pods punched through the Overmind's damaged hull like bullets through flesh. Inside the alien ship, the Marines found a nightmare landscape of living corridors and breathing walls. The ship itself was alive, and it did not want intruders. This place smells like death, Sergeant Kate Brown said over the radio. Her team had landed in what looked like a stomach. The walls pulsed with digestive acids that could dissolve steel. Stay together and watch for defensive organisms, Steve ordered. Intelligence reports warned about bioweapons that lived inside Zephyrian ships. Creatures designed to hunt and kill boarders. The first attack came 5 minutes after landing. Tentacled monsters the size of cars dropped from the ceiling. They moved fast and struck with poisoned claws. But human Marines were ready for them. Contact! Multiple hostiles! Shouted Corporal Mike Taylor. His squad opened fire with explosive rounds designed to damage organic targets. The bullets burst inside the creatures like tiny grenades. The monsters died quickly. Human weapons were brutal and effective. The Zephyrians had never faced enemies who brought explosives to a biological fight. Back on the Constitution's bridge, Dr. Helen Cross monitored the boarding operation through the Marines' helmet cameras. She was also studying the Overmind's neural patterns with her sensors. Admiral, I'm detecting interesting changes in the target's brain activity, Helen reported. The boarding teams are causing more than physical damage. They're disrupting its thought processes. Explain, Kate ordered. The Overmind is like a massive brain, but it's never had to deal with infections before. Our Marines are like viruses in its nervous system. It's starting to panic, Kate smiled grimly. Fear was a human weapon that worked on any intelligent enemy. Even ancient aliens could be scared if you hurt them badly enough. Inside the bioship, Steve Adams led his team toward the command center. They moved through corridors that tried to crush them and past organs that spat acid. A powered armor protected them, but it was like walking through the digestive system of a dragon. Sir, we're getting readings of massive neural activity ahead, reported Lieutenant Lisa Stone. She was the team's technical specialist. Her sensors could detect bioelectrical patterns through the ship's hull. That's our target, Steve said. The brain of this thing. They found the Overmind's consciousness in a chamber the size of a cathedral. It was a massive organic computer made of living tissue. Electrical impulses flowed through it like lightning. This was where the creatures' thoughts were born. Plant the charges, Steve ordered. The Marines carried special explosives designed by human scientists. They were not meant to destroy the brain, but to disrupt it. Neural disruptors that would scramble the Overmind's thoughts without killing it immediately. Meanwhile, the Constitution continued its assault on the command ship's exterior. Navigator Rachel Stone guided the massive vessel in close combat maneuvers that should have been impossible. She brought the ship within point-blank range of the Overmind's weapon pods. All guns, continuous fire, ordered Chief Tactical Officer Ben Rodriguez. Don't give it time to regenerate. The Constitution's weapons fired in a steady rhythm. Main guns, pulse cannons, and gravitational disruptors worked together to tear the enemy ship apart. Explosions lit up space like fireworks, but the Overmind was fighting back with desperate fury. Its remaining weapon pods concentrated their fire on the Constitution's engines. Bioplasma beams hot enough to melt mountains struck the human ships. Rear sections, engine room taking heavy damage. Chief Engineer Ryan Hayes reported, "I'm losing power to the starboard engines." Kate felt the ship shudder under the alien assault. The Constitution was strong, but it was not invincible. They needed to end this fight quickly. "Steve, how much longer?" she asked over the radio. 30 seconds, Admiral. Almost finished planting the charges. Inside the bioship, the Marines completed their mission and prepared to evacuate. But the Overmind had realized what they were doing. The ship's immune system was responding with everything it had. "Sir, we've got company." Sergeant Brown shouted. Warrior organisms, the size of tanks, came charging down the corridors. These were the ship's white blood cells, designed to destroy any infection. They had claws that could cut through steel and hides thick enough to stop bullets. "Fall back to the extraction point," Steve ordered. "Fighting retreat." The Marines moved backward through the ship while firing everything they had. Explosive rounds, plasma grenades, and portable missile launchers filled the corridors with destruction. The warrior organisms died, but more kept coming. Extraction pods launching now, Amy announced from the Constitution. The small rescue craft punched through the bioship's hull just as the neural disruptors exploded. The Overmind's scream of pain and confusion echoed across 3 star systems. Every radio in the area picked up the creature's psychic death cry. "All teams recovered," Steve reported as his pod docked with the Constitution. Charges detonated successfully. On the main screen, Kate watched the Overmind's massive form convulse in space. Its weapon pods stopped firing. Its hull patterns went dark. The ancient creature that had terrorized the galaxy for 1,000 years floated helpless and broken But Kate was not finished with it yet. The Overmind had killed billions of innocent people. It had destroyed entire civilizations. It deserved more than a quick death. Amy, open a channel to the enemy command ship, Kate ordered. Channel open, Admiral. Kate's voice carried across space with the cold authority of justice itself. Overmind, this is your final warning. Surrender now and order all your forces to withdraw from Federation space. Refuse, and I will show you what humans do to monsters. The reply came back weak and broken. The creature's mental voice was filled with pain and confusion. What have you done to me? I cannot think clearly. My thoughts are scattered like leaves in a storm. That's just the beginning, Kate said. Surrender now or face complete neural isolation. We will cut you off from every bioship in your fleet. You will spend eternity alone with your thoughts. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Overmind knew true fear. I surrender, the creature whispered. Please ... no more pain. Kate looked around her bridge at the faces of her crew. They had done the impossible. One human ship had defeated an enemy that had conquered half the galaxy. Communications Officer Miller, patch me through to Admiral Knox. Kate said. Communications Officer Tony Miller established the link immediately. Admiral Knox's voice came through filled with amazement and relief. Admiral Sullivan, this is Admiral. Knox, I don't know how to thank you. You've saved us all. Just doing our job, Admiral. But this is only the beginning. We need to make sure the Zephyrians never threaten anyone again. Outside the ship, the scattered remains of the biofleet began to retreat. Without the Overmind's guidance, they were just confused animals looking for a place to hide. The 3-year reign of terror was finally over, but Kate knew the galaxy would never be the same. Today, humanity had announced its arrival on the cosmic stage, and the message was clear. Earth's children did not just fight to survive. They fought to win. 3 days after the battle, the Federation Council met in emergency session. The Great Chamber was filled with representatives from 40 different worlds. They had come to discuss one question: what to do about the humans. Captain Nicole Green sat at the main table wearing her dress uniform. She represented Earth's government in all diplomatic matters. Nicole was smart, tough, and had no patience for political games. She knew the aliens were scared of what they had seen. The Zephyrian threat has been eliminated, Admiral Knox reported. To the Council, all bioships have retreated to the Outer Rim. The Overmind remains in Federation custody aboard the human vessel. Council leader Zorvith spoke for the assembled races. His tentacles moved nervously as he talked. We are grateful for human assistance, but we must discuss the implications of what happened. One ship destroyed an entire invasion fleet. This changes everything. Nicole had expected this conversation. Fear made people suspicious. The aliens had spent 3 years losing to the Zephyrians. Now humans had won in 3 hours. That kind of power made neighbors nervous. Earth is committed to peaceful cooperation with all Federation members, Nicole said calmly. We responded to your request for help. Nothing more. But how? Asked Representative Vexstar. The Altarian captain had survived the destruction of his home world. Your people have been in space for only 2 centuries. How did you build something like the Constitution? Lieutenant Mark Johnson stood up from his seat. He had been promoted after the battle and given a new job. Earth needed someone to explain human capabilities to confused aliens. We had good teachers, Mark said simply. For 200 years, we studied your technology. We learned from your mistakes, and we improved on your designs. Improved? Council leader Zorvith made a sound like choking. You created weapons that break the laws of physics. Ships that move like they have no mass. How is this improvement? Humans don't accept. Limitations, Mark replied. When someone tells us something is impossible, we try harder. On the Constitution, Admiral Kate Sullivan walked through the detention section where the Overmind was being held. The ancient creature had been moved to a special chamber designed to contain bioorganic entities. It was still alive, but completely isolated from its fleet. Dr. Helen Cross monitored the prisoner from her laboratory. The Overmind's neural patterns had stabilized, but its mind was broken. 1,000 years of collective consciousness had been replaced by solitary confinement. "How is our guest?" Kate asked. "Cooperative, but fragmented," Helen replied. "I don't think it can handle being alone. The neural disruptors did more damage than we expected." "Good. Has it provided the information we requested?" "Yes. Location of all Zephian colonies. Fleet strength. Command structure. Everything we need to make sure they never threaten anyone again." Kate nodded. The Overmind had been very helpful. Once it realized the alternative was complete mental isolation. Fear was a wonderful motivator, even for ancient aliens. In the Federation Council chamber, the debate continued. Some representatives wanted to give humans a leadership role in galactic defense. Others worried about creating a new threat worse than the Zephyrians. "The question before us is simple," said Captain Dexner. The Centauri officer had witnessed the battle from the Constitution's bridge. "Do we trust the humans to use their power responsibly? Can we afford not to?" asked Admiral Knox. The Zephyrians were not the only threat in the galaxy. There are other enemies out there. Pirates, raiders, hostile AI systems. We need the human fleet to protect us. Council leader Zorvith was not convinced. "How do we know the humans won't decide to conquer us themselves? They have the power to destroy any world they choose." Nicole Green had heard enough. She stood up and looked around the chamber at all the alien faces. Some showed fear. Others showed hope. All of them showed respect. "Let me explain something about humans," Nicole said. "We don't conquer people who ask for help. We protect them. That's what we do. It's who we are." "Pretty words," Zorvith replied. "But power corrupts all species eventually." "Then watch us prove you wrong." The final vote was close. 22 worlds voted to accept human leadership in the new Galactic Defense Alliance. 18 voted against. But it was enough. Admiral Kate Sullivan received the news while standing on her bridge. Amy Watson read the official message from the Federation Council. "The United Earth Navy is hereby granted authority to coordinate all military responses to external threats. Admiral Sullivan is appointed Supreme Commander of Allied Forces." Kate smiled. It was what she had expected. When you save someone's life, they tend to trust you with their safety. "Amy, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them to accelerate production on the new ships. We're going to need a bigger fleet." "How many ships, Admiral?" "All of them." 2 weeks later, construction began on 20 more vessels like the Constitution. Each ship would be larger and more powerful than the last. Human shipyards worked around the clock to build a fleet that could protect an entire galaxy. But Earth was not just building warships. They were also sharing technology with their new allies: gravitational manipulation, advanced materials, weapon systems that could stop any threat. Lieutenant Mark Johnson, now promoted to ambassador, worked with Federation scientists to upgrade their defenses. The old fear-based military doctrine was replaced with human aggression and innovation. People learn quickly. Mark told Dr. Zorith, a Vulcan scientist working on shield technology. "When the alternative is extinction, learning becomes urgent," the alien replied. On the outer rim of Federation space, the scattered Zephyrian bioships tried to regroup. But they found no safe harbor. Human patrol ships hunted them down one by one. The creatures that had terrorized the galaxy for 1,000 years became hunted animals, running for their lives. The few bioships that tried to fight back were destroyed quickly. The humans had studied Zephyrian technology and developed perfect counters for every weapon. Neural disruptors, electromagnetic pulse cannons, gravitational weapons that could tear organic hulls apart. Within 6 months, the Zephyrian collective was extinct. Not one bioship remained in known space. The threat that had almost destroyed galactic civilization was gone forever. Captain Nicole Green stood before the Federation Council one final time. She had come to deliver Earth's message to the galaxy. The Zephyrian threat is ended, she announced. Their bioships are destroyed. Their colonies are abandoned. The galaxy is safe. The chamber erupted in cheers. Representatives from 40 worlds stood and applauded. Some had tears in their eyes. They had lived in fear for 3 years. Now, they could finally breathe freely. But this is not the end, Nicole continued when the noise died down. It's the beginning. Humanity has taken responsibility for protecting this galaxy. We will not fail you. We will not abandon you. And we will not let anyone threaten your worlds. Again, Council Leader Zorvith stood up slowly. The old alien looked tired but relieved. On behalf of all Federation worlds, I thank the human race. You have given us back our future, Nicole smiled. We're just getting started. In the depths of space, the USS Constitution patrolled the borders of known civilization. Its sensors watched for new threats. Its weapons stood ready to defend the innocent. Admiral Kate Sullivan had made a promise to protect the galaxy, and she intended to keep it. Behind the Constitution, dozens of new human ships followed in formation. The Earth fleet grew larger every month. Soon there would be hundreds of vessels. Then thousands. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. When humans made a promise, they kept it. When they declared something protected, it stayed protected. When they decided to fight, they fought to win. The arrival of humanity's battleship had shaken the heavens. But it was what came after that changed everything. Earth's children had found their place in the cosmos. They were the guardians. They, protectors. The ones who stood between the innocent and the dark. And they were just getting started. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, knowing that humanity was watching over them. The age of fear was over. The age of human protection had begun. In the cold vastness of space, that made all the difference.